Well, that's right. Before we get into the video, a small little favour to ask. Inching very close to 500,000 subscribers, such a mental number. Let's try and hit it before the end of the year. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's just crack back into the video. Hello, welcome to HITC support, and don't worry, I'm not stuck in a time warp. I didn't suffer a midnight stroke to the point where I now think it's 2011. Don't worry, I'm not rushing out to buy dappy CDs. I don't think Harry Potter is in the cinema, and I'm not trying to lose my virginity inside a couch. I actually lost that in my uncle's basement at 9 years of age. But less about that. But yeah, I'm well aware it's not 2011. I mean, if I was living in England that year and subjected to round-the-clock coverage of the royal wedding, punctuated by radio soundbites of Adele wailing about being dumped at the altar, or nursing her sick cat back to health, or not being able to see her toes in the shower, I don't know. All I know is that her songs were more depressing than a toddler's funeral. I mean, if I was living in this country back then, I'd probably end up ripping chunks of brain out my nose. What I am doing though is a retro style video, because let's face it, there have been many mental games of football in the past, long before I ever chucked my Irish head in front of a camera. Clearly we don't have a time machine. So instead, I'm gonna delve inside the resources of my small brain and just try and remember what my thoughts and feelings were for these matches. For each month of the season, I'm gonna pick the craziest game that occurred in that month of every year and try to react to it as if it was current news. So for this month, let me transport back to August 2011 and sort of react to one of the most ridiculous Premier League games to ever exist. Right, I'm back in 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen the analytics, it's mostly gentlemen. We are gathered here today to announce the Arsenal Football Club is dead. I mean, of course they are. How do you come back from this? We are 3 games into the season, and their title hopes are about as credible as Ollie Murr's pop career. Because let's face it, most people on the planet know that by 2015, this fella is going to be back to unclogging toilets and Mackie D's. Prices above, if I hear Dance With Me Tonight one more time this summer, I think I might just stick a toothbrush in my ear. But yeah, 8 bastard 2 against Manchester United. Remember when this used to be an historic rivalry? 2 great clubs going head to head for a league title? The Keane Vieira rivalry, the tunnel bust-ups, the swapping of silverware on an almost annual basis? Now, not only have Arsenal not even sniffed in the direction of a league winners medal in 7 goddamn years, they're now shipping 8 at Old Trafford. Poor Arsenal fans, the entire season of Lost has been and gone in the length of time it's been since they've won a league. So how did this result happen? Are Arsenal now just employing a bunch of human sandwiches to chuck in their defence? Seemingly, because let's see. Wojciech Chesney was in nets. Did he win a competition? Because if he's a top class goalkeeper, then I have a Peruvian housewife. Sticking a former Brentford loanee in goal for a trip to Old Trafford. Arsene Wenger might have stuffed a postbox in the goddamn goal mouth. Conceding 8 in goal for Arsenal, not only is that a sackable offence, he should be forced to eat his gloves with a knife and fork, chuck him in a cellar and make him devour the entire kit. Maybe then when he's squeezing out a pair of socks down the toilet bowl, he'll remember not to drag the club's dignity through a pile of shite. Right back was Carl Jenkinson. Now I'm convinced that man has incriminating photos of Arsene Wenger in his wallet. Because why else would he be allowed to waddle onto the pitch? Chucking him at right back and expecting to win the game. It's about as sensible as trying to cook lasagna by sticking your face in the oven. Are we forgetting 3 weeks ago he scored an own goal from this position? 1 year ago he was lining up for Welling United and East Burton Borough, probably against hungover plumbers who've only taken up Sunday League to distract themselves from losing custody of the kids. Who else? Lauren Koscielny had a nightmare defence. Honestly, it's days like this he probably wishes he drove a taxi for a living. At least then, a bad day in the office, surely you might run over a pensioner or 2. Yeah, you'd probably have to spend an hour picking a granny's teeth out of your windshield, but at least you wouldn't have embarrassed yourself in front of millions of viewers worldwide. But at least Koscielny is an actually competent centre half with working limbs. But putting a 21-year-old Johan Djuro beside him, this guy was part of a defence which conceded 4 at Newcastle in February. Wenger should have known then he was about as reliable as a pregnancy test made of cheese. This guy was ripped apart by Danny Welbeck. He made him look like Ronaldo. Armand Traore at left back, excuse me while I get sick in a bucket. I grew up watching Ashley Cole in that position for Arsenal. Traore isn't fit to lick his boots. This man has League One standard written all over his face. Sure, Juventus took him on loan last season, but clearly the owners had punctured their brains. Honestly, Arsenal have had some great players play the left back role in the past. So watching Traore, it's like giving the role of James Bond to Adam Sandler. And the fact he's going to his grave with 13 appearances for Arsenal, when he can't even tell his arse from his elbow, is actually quite an achievement. Again, the rest of the team was just littered with inexperience. Aaron Ramsey, Francis Coquelin, even the old guard Thomas Rosicky, Robin van Persie and Andre Arshavin, they might as well have all stayed in North London. Okay, we can talk about how the entire back four should be executed in a Tesco car park. We could talk about how Jenkinson should be forced to spend time in a Korean prison camp for crimes against football, but let's not forget, RVP also missed a first half penalty. Clearly he left his motivation on the bus. What must he be thinking? Arsenal are desperately trying to convince him to stay. But who the f is going to want to stick it out for a team who've just flogged their best players, shoved a bunch of kids on a bus to Old Trafford before crumbling like a melted Kit Kat? There was a lot of talk in the summer about who's going to replace the gaping hole in midfield left by Cesc Fabregas and Samir Nasri. Many people mentioned young Aaron Ramsey, now returning after Ryan Shawcross snapped his leg like a stale Twix. I'm sorry, but on this performance, he should probably have stayed in the treatment room, or better yet, taking up a new profession. Take a course in jam making, because on this showing, clearly football isn't for you. What's he gonna do? Score over 60 goals for Arsenal? Win 2 FA Cups? Sign for Juventus? Play with Ronaldo and earn £400,000 a week? If that happens, I will personally make love to a f***ing But yeah, after being played off the park by Tom Cleverley, who everyone can see is England's next great hope, and unlike Ramsey, the actual real deal, I think this Welsh imposter is gonna have a career fighting championship relegation battles each and every year. This is a game where Ashley Young managed to look like the second coming of Ronaldo, absolutely turning your defense into toilet water. Actually, can I even call it a defense? Because Webster's dictionary defines the word as the action of defending from or resisting attack. Did anyone see any Arsenal footballer resisting attack? Christ, clearly they were reading from the Bible according to Katie Price, because they just allowed a stream of men to continually enter their box, time and time again. If this was a battleground, they'd essentially lay down their weapons and offer their opponents a f***ing hug. That's how you get an anvil lodged in your skull. This is just sad. Even Sir Alex Ferguson must be embarrassed. They were used to riveting tactical battles in the past. Now, this was just too easy. Wenger, just go. Get out of Arsenal with the remaining tatters of your dignity before the fans turn on you. Because I promise you, there is no point in staying on. Sure, you must want to repeat the last title triumph, go out on a high, but it's not going to happen. That Invincibles team had one of the strongest spines ever seen in British football. By contrast, your current spine is currently weaker than someone who's just fallen out of a 6-story window. There's talk that Thierry Henry might be coming back on loan from the MLS this season. Bringing a club legend like this into this utter car crash, for his own sake, stay away. Would you not be embarrassed to bring him back into this? It's like 5 years after your wife dumped you for a Spanish waiter, then after your life falls apart, the government repossesses the house, and you end up living in a second-hand fridge while selling bodily fluids online to pay for your bastard dinner. Would you really want your ex-wife to see you in that condition? If Henry returns to the Emirates to lay his eyes on this utter skid mark of a football team, oh. So how has it come to this? How has Wenger and the Arsenal board managed to turn this once proud club into a part-time circus? Well, look at preparation for the season. If you sold Fabregas and Nasri for a hefty chunk of money, you might think you would reinvest in the squad. Okay, let's look at transfers then. Gervinho from Lille, very good. You've just spent 11 million on a forehead. What else? Jenkinson from Charlton Athletic. Yes, a real statement of intent. Employ a right back who clearly spends his free time stuffing his face with Jaffa cakes. Oh well, as a 16-year-old kid from the Barca Academy called Hector Bellerin. Clearly we're never going to hear from him again. What's he going to do? Play 200 times for the club, win a bunch of FA Cups, and lecture a bunch of posh kids at Oxford University? Don't think so. Oh well, it's another teenage winger from Southampton called Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So clearly nobody around here has learned their lesson from Theo f***ing Walcott. Looking for potentially world-class footballers at Southampton Football Club is like searching for a potential Miss World in Scunthorpe. The only thing you're going to find there is a walking yeast infection. The Arsenal fans are desperately crying out, praying for a few top signings to give them a bit of hope. You listen to this and respond by giving them a Joel Campbell, Andre Santos and Park Chu-young. That's like your kids spending 6 weeks leading up to Christmas begging you for the latest sneakers or an iPhone or even just a hug. And then December 25th comes and they wake up to find their stockings filled with cat sick, pig poo and a pair of socks. This must be the summer from hell for Arsenal fans. 16-year-old virgins on the web are laughing at the demise of your club.
When I saw the goals that went in on Sunday, I was infuriated. I mean, the first goal was a complete joke.
Yeah, pretty sure that's the last we've heard of that kid. If Arsenal fans had a platform, a way to release their frustration, to let the world know, instead of the social media spokesman for the club being some kid named after a f***ing Halo clan, someone please set up a YouTube channel for this club. Because as we know, there'll be no ranting and raving, because Arsenal fans are usually sensible, down-to-earth kind of guys. Apparently they've been linked with Mikel Arteta from Everton, replacing Fabregas with Arteta. It's like selling a 7-bedroom mansion to go and live in a cardboard box on the side of the road. Now, nothing against that way of life. It's not too dissimilar to my current living situation, but I smell of piss 65% of the time. Is that really the life you want for Arsenal Football Club? Arteta is 30 years of age. What is he, a 6-month stopgap? I guarantee within 10 years, nobody is going to remember he ever played for Arsenal. His legacy at this club will probably be on par with Henry Lansbury's, another guy who spat onto the pitch at Old Trafford. Was it just bring a fan to work day? And look at Arsenal's supposed challengers for the top 4. And note how I said top 4 and not title. Because I know we're less than a month in, but I'm sorry, I cannot bring myself to mention this bunch of egg yolks and title in the same bastard breath. It would be like tipping One Direction to write a song that didn't want to make me puke in my hand. Top 4 challengers then, right. Chelsea have filled their basket with Juan Mata from Valencia and a couple of promising Belgians, a goalkeeper and a centre forward. I don't know why, but something tells me they'll go on to sign for Real Madrid and Inter Milan respectively. Something tells me that's the career progression they're going to go on. Something also tells me I'm going to make make love to a farmyard pig on my 25th birthday. Anyway, back into 2020. That's the end of it, lads. Let me know if you enjoyed it. If this was worth doing again, let me know for September. Let me know what games in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.